This is a new series I am creating called What If Video Games. This episode will be about an idea I had for a video game prequel set in the original Modern Warfare timeline.
Not so fast. Remember Beirut? You're with us.
I guess I owe you one.
Bloody right you do.
In Call of Duty 4, when Price said this, it got me thinking about what this could possibly lead to. However, with the new Modern Warfare reboot that just came out, it is unlikely that we will ever see another game take place in the original Modern Warfare timeline developed by Infinity Ward. This is where Raven Software could come in. As many of you know, I am a fan of the company Raven Software. Back in 2016, they were interviewed about potentially working on their own Call of Duty game set in a modern time period. This got me thinking of an idea for a Modern Warfare prequel and what it would be like. The game will start during the Lebanon Civil War during the hostage crisis of Beirut. In 1982, during the siege of Beirut, Kamarov and his Russian forces try to infiltrate the Kamil Chamon Sports City Stadium after having received intel about potential weapons being smuggled and sold there by terrorists. However, after they infiltrate it, terrorists capture Kamarov. After a few days have gone by, Price and other SAS commandos infiltrate the stadium through a sewer.
Hold up. They've already taken prisoners. They're moving fast.
They see Kamarov is being held hostage and beaten by weapon smugglers and fight like hell to save him. After successfully rescuing Kamarov, we then cut to footage of a Norwegian official being arrested for espionage. The game shows us a series of flashbacks going back to the 1970s where the KGB is trying to recruit Stoltenberg, the current leader of NATO. A battle breaks out between Russian and Norwegian special forces. A few years later, during the Lebanon hostage crisis on September 30th, 1985, 4 Soviet diplomats are taken hostage by members of the terrorist group Hezbollah. You now switch sides over to playing as the KGB as they fight Hezbollah terrorist members in an attempt to get to the brother of one of the kidnappers. You torture and kill him and send his decapitated head to the kidnappers. After the remaining 3 hostages are freed, many years go by and the Gulf War begins. During the Gulf War, Captain Price aids in combat, assisting U.S. soldiers in many battles. A year later, in April of 1992, war breaks out in the Balkans. You now play as a civilian whose wife and daughter are about to be sexually assaulted by the people invading your country. You kill off the rapists, but now you have to flee as you are hunted down by soldiers. You join the Croatian rebel force as you fight off terrorists during the Bosnian War. As you make your way to Bosnia, civil war engulfs the country as the roads are littered with corpses. We then jump to 4 years later in 1997, where Captain Price and a German Special Forces team have been notified that weapons are being smuggled into Albania. On March 13, 1997, the German Special Forces team Kommando Spiegelkraft are sent off on a mission to rescue civilians trapped in Albania. This is known to the world as Operation Dragonfly. However, unknown to the rest of the world, a smaller group of German Special Forces were teaming up with the British SAS to stop the terrorists from selling weapons to Albania. After stopping the terrorists, German Special Forces and the SAS blow up their headquarters to keep any information about it from reaching the public. This was just an idea I had for a Call of Duty game set in the original Modern Warfare timeline with a quasi-realistic story. Feel free to comment below on your thoughts.